Not every king wants a crown. Not every emperor wants your applause. Some of the most powerful people in the world hide in plain sight, not because they lack influence, but because revealing it would be too dangerous, too destabilizing, or simply too inelegant. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and talk about the most powerful people you've never seen on a Forbes list, but whose control over money, politics, or society is no less real. If you think the world's top power is always measured in billions of dollars in magazine covers, you're already missing half the story. Forbes and similar rankings are based on visible, documentable wealth and influence. But what about those who control resources behind trusts, who move policy through back channels, or who rule de facto, not de jure, nations? Those people seldom show up in Forbes' neat rows, yet their reach often extends far beyond what the public realizes. Let's walk through 5 categories of hidden power and spotlight real figures who operate in the shadows. 1. Royal dynasties and state sovereigns whose wealth is inseparable from the state. Take the House of Saud. The Saudi royal family controls vast portions of the world's oil reserves, holds real estate around the globe, runs sovereign wealth funds, and wields geopolitical influence. Yet nobody can reliably put a price tag on how rich each prince is. Some estimates put the total at $1.4 trillion in holdings and control. Why don't they appear on Forbes? Because their wealth is intertwined with public assets, government budgets, and royal prerogative. There's no transparent ledger, and to separate the kingdom from the king is to risk destabilizing the state. Likewise, certain monarchs and royal families in the Gulf, Africa, or Asia control critical infrastructure, military forces, and resource flows, but avoid public disclosure. These are power centers more than fortunes. 2. Kleptocrats, oligarchs, and political puppeteers working through proxies. Vladimir Putin is a classic example. His personal wealth is opaque. What's evident is how he can redirect state energy revenues, issue strategic contracts, or weaponize judicial systems, all without needing a billionaire bank account under his name. His domain is influence, not disclosure. Then there are oligarchs behind the curtain who may not appear on public lists yet control media empires, mining interests, logistics infrastructure, or military supply chains in opaque regimes. These are the men and women who own the levers, not the titles. Their wealth often travels through layers of trusts, shell companies, and third-party stewards to stay off the radar. 3. The power brokers, official or unofficial middlemen who gatekeep access. You've likely heard of power brokers, those individuals who never run for office but decide who gets promoted, who gets funding, who gets meetings. Think of someone like a head of intelligence, a chief of staff, or a corporate puppet master, never in the spotlight, but shaping every major pivot behind the scenes. They control access to real power and rarely appear in public rankings. Robert Moses, who reshaped New York infrastructure over decades, never held elected office, yet influenced budgets, zoning, and highways with more power than many governors. His legacy is proof that influence often lies in the ability to coax systems, not hold titles. In modern times, these roles exist in governments, party machines, and corporate boards. Critical, invisible, and impossible to list in a wealth ranking. 4. New era influencers, platform lords, algorithm architects, platform financiers. We used to think of wealth as physical assets. Now it's data, access, and attention. The individuals who own the platforms, define the algorithmic flows, or withhold key digital infrastructure rarely show up in traditional wealth rankings, because their dominance doesn't always translate into transparent balance sheets. Whether it's someone controlling a major cloud network, owning data infrastructure in frontier markets, or even undisclosed venture capital backers shaping AI policy, their reach dwarfs many public names. 5. Philanthropists, heads of secretive family offices, ultra-exclusive trusts. Some of the richest money in the world is laundered, not for crime, but for discretion. Consider family offices that manage multi-generational fortunes, allocating capital quietly across asset classes. Much of this capital is invisible to public accounting or Forbes researchers. Then add in foundations that direct global development policy. They might not show up on a wealth list, but they channel billions in influence. One more dramatic example. During the Saudi 2017 anti-corruption purge, the government attempted to reclaim over $100 billion from princes and businessmen, a signal that much wealth had been deliberately hidden. Real names you might not know, but should. Prince Muttab bin Abdullah of Saudi Arabia. Once a favorite of royal succession, he was arrested in 2017 and fined $1 billion. His personal fortune was deeply tied to defense contracts and control of the National Guard. Again, hard to trace, yet enormously powerful. In regimes where the head of state or ruling party holds the real levers, the president or prime minister may be a figurehead in some ways, while hidden coteries, military elites, or intelligence chiefs hold the real purse strings. In the digital sphere, there are billionaires backing private AI-driven infrastructure in parts of Asia or Africa who never publicize themselves, but dictate which national governments get access, who controls surveillance networks, and who sets policy. And don't forget clandestine financiers, shadow sovereign funds, or exiled rulers who still command loyalty and capital. Their wealth is a whisper, not a broadcast. Why they don't show up on Forbes. Opacity and secrecy. If you don't publish your assets, use layers of ownership, or merge state and personal wealth, you vanish from public rankings. Risk of exposure. Being too visible invites sanctions, protests, or political challenges. Many powerful elites prefer to operate in stealth. Non-monetary leverage. Power can be control over security forces, regulation, intelligence, or public narrative, none of which are easily valued. Collateral control over assets. They don't own public assets, they command them. Assigning a net worth is a category error. Preference for invisibility. Some don't want plaques, headlines, or rankings. Influence is most secure when quiet. How to see this hidden world. Watch pattern changes. When power shifts, you see dredges from the shadows. Follow contracts, infrastructure deals, defense procurement, and elite networks. They often mark unseen handrails. Note when publications or governments are afraid to name names. That's a clue power lies behind sealed lips. Study families and dynasties across multiple industries: media, real estate, energy, defense. Overlapping control often signals hidden power. If you leave today remembering one thing, let it be this. Power is often measured not by how much people see, but by what they fail to see. Those most capable of shaping your world, in policy, economics, culture, may be utterly invisible, absent from magazine covers, and never invited to top 10 lists. Yet they may command far more than your favorite billionaire ever could. Thanks for diving into this with me. If you want deep profiles on any of these shadow figures, or want to go undercover into secret history of power, just say the word. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and let me bring you more of the unseen players in history and global affairs. See you in the next one.